We have some interesting things to talk about. We have Dominique, Divinely Guided Light. She's going to be talking about healing and manifesting. And she has an amazing book that she wrote. And then we also have Be Awakening, and she's going to talk about where she is on her journey, a follow-up from the previous time. She's an honored guest. And then I'm going to talk about learning, speaking, and living spiritual truths. And did we decide I'm going first?
Yes.
Okay. So since we were just speaking about, me saying for all of November, all of December, I guess I must have said this. It had to be in the middle of October, maybe. And I said I wasn't going to drink any alcohol. And there's just certain things I wasn't going to eat, certain things I wasn't going to do. And I was going to make sure I walk every day, no matter what. Just a lot of things that I just said stops overnight. And I guess since I talked to my divine parents about it, and I talked to my ancestors at the altar, and I'm like, look, I'm going to get it. I'm going to burn my ancestor money every day, do this every day, and I'm not going to do this. And everything that I didn't want to do, it just left my mind. The desire left. And I was kind of shocked because I thought, why didn't this happen weeks ago or months ago when I was trying to stop and start certain things? It just didn't happen. So it's divine timing. And I think I had to show the universe that I was serious and that I meant it. And, how when you say you're going to stop something, you get those little tests. And then to see if you're really going to stop it. And a lot of times you really don't stop it. So this time I was like, no, I know I'm not crazy. I can do this, And so, like I said, all the desires, all the thoughts, it just left my head. And when I wake up every day, it's better. And I think also I've been studying about the subconscious a lot, the conscious and subconscious, and applying pleasure centers to certain things. So certain things that I had pleasure ties with, I tried to cut it, and now I'm attaching new things to pleasure. So getting up, walking every day makes me feel so happy. I find leaves, I find money, feathers. So it's associated with happiness. And I've been doing it for more than 21 days, so now it's automatic. So that's kind of getting into my topic, learning, speaking, and living spiritual truths. Because I think when we first start on the journey, we hear a lot of phrases, and we know that it's correct, and we know it's the opposite of religion. So we take it on, and we start saying things. I'm going to go within. We say, I got to release a lack mindset. We say, time isn't real. We say all these things and we hear people talking about it and we know that it's right. But I think after some time, we don't see as much progress sometimes and think, what am I saying? What am I doing? And I think, like for me, I had to start breaking down what those things were that I was saying. Because, at first you fake it till you make it. And then I'm like, okay, I'm faking it till I make it, and I'm not making it. What am I saying every day? So I had to think, am I practicing what I'm preaching? So the first example is about the lack mindset. And I realized that, so I am 54. I started this journey 3 years ago. So that means for 51 years, I lived in a lack mindset and I didn't know it. So that's a lot of practice. If I've been doing this for only 3 years, that's less than a quarter of my life. So that's like about 12 or 13 years, whatever. So I've been doing this for less than 12 years, which is less than like a quarter of my life. So I can't get on myself too hard about not getting it right. But I realized just like it took me that long to get those old, habits, it's going to take me some time to fix those and get some new habits. So I was like, okay, so how am I doing this lack mindset thing? How am I living like that? So For me, I think a part of it was worrying. Always worrying about not having, but I was always trying to prepare in advance. So I wrote an example. This example happened. I was like, so say for instance, I was like, no, I'll just say your example. So I had like $386 that I had just kind of saved extra, right? And I was like, yeah, I got this extra. I'm going to save this and then I'm going to do something with it. And then I had this bill that came and it was $386. And I was like, wait a minute. My mind instantly said, oh, you got the money for that. But then my other mind was like, no. I was like, no, I didn't save this so I could pay a bill. It's like, I got to pay the bill. If I don't, I'm going to be messed up. So I was back and forth for days trying to figure out like how I could keep that money. And figure out another way for this to get paid. I mean, I was stressing. So then I was like, okay, I think this is like mindset. You acting like you're never going to get money again. So just pay it. I was like, so I paid it. That night, I kid you not, and I had cash too. Because, I like to have cash on this card. I mean, money on this card, and then cash. It was my cash. I was like, man. So I was like, just do it. So I did it. That night, I kid you not, I sold some stuff, did some other things, and I got like $600 in cash that night. And I was just like, oh. I was like, how did that happen? So I got back to 386 plus like $250. And I was like, I said, see, every time I always get what I need, and a lot of times it's at the last minute. It's at the last minute because Spirit is trying to tell me, stop worrying. We're going to make you wait to the last minute so that you can understand that all these things you thought about and tried, we could have fixed that for you if you had like just did it instantly. I was like, man, I guess I was living like that. So I thought, okay. And then like I just got that washer and dryer I was telling y'all about like the other day, like overnight. And it was like, oh man, wow. And I ain't even tripped. So then I was realizing, how many times a week, a month, a day do I do that? Do I worry about what I don't have and what I do have? But then think about how many times it always works out. And it always works out. So I'm like, okay, so now I have to practice to make sure that I'm not doing that. So I got to teach myself, train myself, because I don't want to say that to everybody in encouragement. Don't have a lack mindset, and then I have a lack mindset. But I have to know why I have a lack mindset. And I have to be able to tell others why so that they can go, oh, you know what, I do that too, And I thought about, it's not the amount either. Because say, for instance, okay, I had $386. Say for instance, I had $386,000. And I'm trying to get a house. And the house that I want is $386,000. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to spend all my money on the house. It's like, dude, maybe the reason you had the amount of money in the first place was because Spirit already did the work, made sure you had it. So when it did come up, you could just slide right on through and keep going. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll think about it like that, in reverse. That, you had the money in the first place. How did you even get that amount in the first place? Because on the other side, they was looking. So I thought, okay, so next time when I have extra, I'm just going to put it aside and say, okay, I'm going to put this here. So whatever comes up, I got it. So whatever comes up, I'll be like, oh, let me go get it because they already got it for me. So now you don't have to spend so much time talking to the ancestors, to your higher self saying, I need this, I need that, and what about this, what about that? Stopping to realize that a lot of times they already give it to you in the first place.
And they already know what you need.
Right, and you already got it, but your lack mindset is like, nah, I really want to keep this $50.
Because that's where we've been for so long, in that mindset.
Exactly. So like I said, when I think about how old I am versus how long I was doing the lack versus how long, so even though I started this journey 3 years ago, still, it takes you a good year and a half to get past the what, everything is a lie, what are you talking about? Then you learn all this stuff, what everybody's saying, okay, I'm going to jump on this bandwagon. Then you got to take time to live it, So that's really like less than a year for real.
Well, It goes back to what I've been saying for the last couple of days. I was told it's a stroll, not a marathon. And that makes sense because we're so used to now. And it's nothing like now. Everything is in divine timing. That's just, it keeps showing up for us, so now we know this.
And that's another thing, you said divine timing, and I'm always preaching divine timing. Even my cards and my readings be like divine timing. So if I really believe that divine timing exists and is real, then I'm supposed to act like it. So if I keep running around worrying and stuff and being, and then another thing I realized, when you are from a bigger family, because I was married and I had a child, and then before that I was in a family of 6, a brother, 2 sisters, a mom and dad. And we had to learn to make stuff stretch and use coupons and all of that. So now fast forward to now, I'm still living like I got 6 people in the house. And it's like, dude, you don't. So then the lack changes because I don't have to go in the store and be like, okay, so let me get the detergent that's the cheapest, that'll stretch the longest, that'll do the clean. No, which one do you want? You want the bottle that's $15 that's free and clear? Get it. Don't worry about, okay, down here the $6.99 with the extra. It's like, wait a minute, it's just you. You don't have to do all those things like you used to. You did it for so long, you got to make it stretch. But now you don't. So it's about speaking, learning, and living the spiritual truth. Black sheep.